G'day, I'm Andrew Marshall with the Northern Australia Climate Program at the University of Southern Queensland, and this is a short summary of the Bureau of Meteorology's climate outlook for the northern half of Western Australia for the weeks and months ahead, issued in the few days leading up to today's date, being the 20th of December 2024. So we'll take a look at the rainfall outlooks to begin with, starting with these outlook scenarios, and these are the rainfall totals that have a 75% chance of occurring for your region. So looking ahead here for the 3 months from January to March, we're seeing a 75% chance of up to about 100 millimetres or so for eastern parts of the Gascoyne, exceeding 100 millimetres for large parts of the Pilbara, between about 200 and 400 mils for southern parts of the Kimberley, and exceeding 600 millimetres for much of the northern Kimberley. And remember, you can use this magnifying glass feature right here to drill a little deeper into the forecast, specifying your location of interest to break the forecast down into the chance of different rainfall amounts occurring. And this will give you an idea of how conditions are likely to be compared to the historical median. You can ask your local climate mate to go through this with you in more detail. And now let's take a quick look at the Bureau's northern rainfall totals since the 1st of September. And the large areas in green indicate where more than 50 millimetres of rain has fallen. This is considered to be about the amount of rainfall required to stimulate plant growth. And as you can see, much of Northern Australia has now exceeded 50 mils of rain for the season. Now let's look at temperatures, and the differences from average for maximum temperature here show warmer conditions of around 2 degrees or more above average for much of the north for 2 weeks from the 23rd of December to the 5th of January. And here the average is calculated over the 1981 to 2018 period for this time of year. For minimum temperature, we're also looking at warmer than average conditions over the next 2 weeks. And looking at the chance of extremes map for the 3 months from January to March, we're seeing an elevated chance of unusually warm days for western parts of the state, particularly the Gascoyne and Western Pilbara, as shown here, and an elevated chance of unusually warm nights also across Western Australia. And by unusually warm, we mean the highest 20% of historical temperature records for this time of year, based on that 1981 to 2018 period. Now remember that these long-range forecasts for Australian rainfall and temperature provide the best guidance for local climate, so that is our focus here. These forecasts consider all ocean and atmosphere conditions that affect seasonal weather and climate. But if you are interested in some of the climate indicators that can influence the forecast, we'll have a quick look at these now. And the El Niño Southern Oscillation is currently neutral, with the Bureau's model suggesting that we are likely to remain in this neutral range in the coming months. The Indian Ocean Dipole, or the IOD, is also neutral and likely to remain so in the next few months. And a moderate to strong pulse of the Madden-Julian Oscillation, or the MJO, has been located over the maritime continent north of Australia this month, but it's forecast to weaken in the next few days. And finally, the Southern Annular Mode, or the SAM, has been negative this month, but is also forecast to weaken in the days ahead. Now turning to the pasture growth outlook from Long Paddock for the 3 months from December to February, and we're expecting to see pasture growth across most northern regions, as shown here, with many regions showing top tersoil growth in response to the expected rainfall in the months ahead. Finally, let's take a look at the Cattle Comfort Index prototype forecasts from the Northern Australia Climate Program at nacp.org.au. And these forecasts go out to about 10 days ahead and are shown at 3-hourly intervals, which you can move through using the controls under the map. Now, index values between 30 and 35 degrees represent moderate stress to cattle. Values between 35 and 40 degrees represent severe stress, and values above 40 degrees are considered extreme. And we are expecting varying heat stress conditions at times over parts of Northern Australia, with some severe and extreme conditions to be aware of in the days ahead. So as always, for more information and updates, visit the Bureau's climate pages at bom.gov.au/climate. If you have any questions about recent conditions or the use of weather and climate forecasts, please reach out to your local climate mate. And you can read more about the Northern Australia Climate Program at nacp.org.au. Have a safe and happy Christmas, and I'll see you in the new year.